Hey guys, and welcome to another YouTube video. For those who are new around here, I am Katelyn and this is my channel Adventures of Katelyn. I post a lot of travel and hiking content, but today I'm actually filming a video which is called How to Safely Hike Solo. So it is for beginners who maybe want to get into solo hiking but don't know how. I've had a lot of people message me saying, it's quite daunting, they don't know where to start, how can I do it safely sort of thing, but these are basically my top 10 tips, which can be applied to also people who already solo hike and want to make sure they are doing it safely and maybe implement some of these as well. There are probably two main dangers when hiking solo, and one of them is kind of natural things that could happen or accidents. So these could include things like weather, injuries, and just not being prepared for situations that might happen, such as, animal attacks or anything like that. And then the other one would be humans who have bad intentions or are out doing the wrong thing, up to no good. But I'm going to run through, as I said, 10 tips which should help you prepare for most situations that you could encounter. Solo hiking isn't for everyone, but I do definitely enjoy it. It's a great way to kind of clear your head. It's a great way to kind of ground yourself, and for me, I just love it. I get really creative, and there's just lots of benefits to solo hiking. Of course, I do love hiking with people as well, but it is just extremely peaceful and liberating when you do hike solo. So let's get into it. So my first tip is to start small. Choose a hike that is easy, choose a hike that is short, and choose one that is close to, say, a city or a town that's easily accessible. By starting small, you'll kind of ease yourself into it, and then you can gradually build up and gain confidence to do bigger, longer and harder hikes. If you want to get into overnight hiking, it is a great way to ease into it, to do a day hike and do one that can be done as an overnight hike as well, but do it the first time as a day hike to familiarise yourself with, say, water sources, creeks, facilities, all that sort of thing, the trailhead. And then when you do go to plan your multi-day hike or overnight hike, you'll know where everything is. It's a lot easier to visualise and plan it, and you'll go in feeling a lot more confident because you have already done it as a day hike. Tip number 2 is to choose a popular trail. If you're just starting out, I would recommend choosing trails that are popular. There's going to be lots of people around. It's just peace of mind that if something does go wrong, you know that there are people around to help you or to sort something out. Maybe they've got some equipment that you might need to borrow or something. So just having other people around is definitely peace of mind, especially if you are doing your first overnight hike. I would say the same thing, and choose a hike where you know there's going to be other people camping at, say, the same campground, and it's nice to know other people are out there. If you're doing your first overnight solo hike, it can be quite daunting knowing that you're literally the only person out there, and if something goes wrong, you've got no one else to rely on or to help out. So choose a popular track if you're just starting out. Tip number 3 is take a personal locator beacon, like one of these. This one here is just the ACR ResLink 400, but basically you just need something that has satellite connection. You can't rely on your mobile phone and having reception while you're out hiking. If something goes wrong and that's all you've got no way of signalling for help. What if you fell down and broke your leg and you need rescuing? You can't rely on your mobile phone. So one of these, basically these ones, they're just the more basic ones. You can basically just press the button in case of emergency, and then it'll let the authorities know via satellite your location, and basically they'll come rescue you from wherever you are, whether that be the top of a mountain or down to the campground. It's really good to know you have this peace of mind, and that if something does go wrong, you are covered. In saying that, you can also get satellite communicators, so ones that can send messages. They are more expensive, but as well as having the button to basically come get rescued, you can also send satellite messages back home to friends or family to say, I'm okay, I'm at this campground, whatever it might be. So either way, you definitely need something that communicates via satellite, just in case of emergency. Number 4 is take a first aid kit. This is the one that we take here, but basically any will do. You just need to make sure you know what's in it and how to use everything that is in it. So obviously cater it for where you're hiking. If you are going somewhere where there's snakes, make sure you've got bandages for snake bites. Make sure you know how to wrap those bandages for snake bites in case you do get bitten. There's no point having all this stuff in here if you don't know how to use it when it comes to the time and place that you need to. Make sure you also have an emergency blanket. They're often included in these types of first aid kits. We have customized the inside of this to what we need in it. But make sure you have got an emergency blanket. Hypothermia obviously is a big risk if you're up in the mountains and say you got stuck and either you were alone or you're trapped overnight and you couldn't move. You need to make sure you can stay warm. But you definitely need some sort of first aid kit, and also with medication, if you're on, say, a regular medication, take more than what you expect you will need. So say you're only planning on going for 2 days, I would pack 3 or 4 days of that medication just in case something happens and you do get stuck out there and need that medication. Number 5 is to tell someone your itinerary. So make sure you tell friends, family, or someone who can be trusted where you're planning on going, where you're planning on staying, when you're leaving, when you're coming back. Even if you don't know, give them a rough guide so that if something happens and say you don't show up when you're supposed to get back, and you know the person hasn't heard from you, or something happens and you need to be contacted or found, they know where you are. And then make sure when you do get back, you message them to say that you are back and you're safe and sound, so that they don't go calling out a search party just because you forgot to say that you're back, you know. But you definitely need to let someone know where you're going. If you're going solo hiking, it's peace of mind for everyone, especially those back home. If they might be worried about you, at least they know in a rough guide where you are. Number 6 is take the appropriate gear. Now this applies to clothing and actual equipment. Make sure you research the hike before you go. Research the weather, research what sort of animals you'll come across, any sort of obstacles that you might need something to help prepare you for that. So mainly the weather, I would say. If you're going up to the mountains, it can be extremely unpredictable. You basically need clothing for any type of weather. It's not uncommon to get like 4 seasons in one day. So you just need to make sure that you have obviously all your wet gear and things like that. If you think you might need gaiters, just take them. It's better to have more gear and have more weight and be prepared for a situation than to get up there, have a lighter backpack, but then realise that you're about to get caught in a storm and you're not ready for that and you don't have the gear to protect you from that. So that also applies to, say, maybe your sleeping gear, equipment. Maybe you need hiking poles. Just you need to research a lot about the weather and just other possibilities and things that could go wrong. Number 7 is trust your gut. As humans, we have great gut instinct, and basically if something doesn't feel right and you're getting a weird vibe about something, something feels off, trust your gut and listen to it. Most of the case, you know, it's right, and if you're getting weird vibes, especially off a person, either let them pass, head in another direction. Don't be afraid to change plans if your gut is telling you that something is wrong. This can apply to other things such as weather. If you have a gut feeling that, you know, those clouds over there are looking really grey and you have a feeling the weather's about to change really bad, don't be afraid to turn back. You can always come do the hike another day, another time, even go back for an hour and then start again or something. Like, be flexible and just trust your gut instinct, because most of the time it will be right. So number 8 is don't tell people you are hiking solo. So this applies to on and off the trail. If you're on the trail and you're passing hikers by, don't be like, oh, I'm by myself. Like, don't announce it. If they do ask, you can just say someone is ahead of you, someone's behind you, someone's gone off to go do their business in the bush. Like, they could be anywhere and they're not going to know that. So just say that you're with someone else. Don't go blurting out the fact that you are alone, because that just draws attention to it. And this also applies online as well. I wouldn't go announcing that you are going to a certain place or that you are going by yourself before you do it. So on Instagram or something, don't post a story being like, oh, I'm here at the trailhead about to start this hike, I'm going by myself. Then everyone knows where you are. It puts yourself at more danger, in my opinion, and I just wouldn't do that. I would save all the stories and post them after you get back, but don't post it in real time so that people know where you are. Now number 9 is self-defense. Depending on where you are in the world, you might be able to take some sort of tool for self-defense. In many countries such as Australia, it is illegal to carry, say, pepper spray or anything like that. But yeah, it's up to you. Check where you're located and check the rules on what you can take. Worst case scenario, you could just take like a whistle or something. If you were confronted by an animal, a person, you could just blow the whistle and that would startle them. Also, in case of like emergency and getting rescued, it would also help people locate where you are. If you've fallen off the side of a ridge or something, they can listen to the whistle and figure out where you are. Even to attract attention of other hikers and maybe able to come help you. A whistle is a really good way to just, again, a little bit of peace of mind and just to help you if you are in need. If you are worried about other humans with bad intentions, you could always do like a self-defense course or something if it makes you feel better, make you feel more prepared and just covered if you are in some sort of bad situation. And then last but not least, take a map and compass. Take a good old-fashioned map, a paper copy. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't trust relying on technology. It can often fail. If you're using your phone, you can run out of reception. I know there are actual GPS ones that rely on satellite and stuff, but I would just much prefer to know that if everything else fails, I have this in my bag and I can follow it. Which brings me to the next point of this, is make sure you can read a map and use the compass to find your way by using a map.
but definitely a good backup. I would make sure you have one. They're light, they're easy, they're waterproof, often they're usually cheap. Like, I just would rather know that I have this as a failsafe. So they are my top 10 tips for hiking solo. Obviously there are more to it, and these are just some of my recommendations. Obviously take your own opinions and whatever you think from it, and just implement what you want or anything else that you want. If you have any other good tips, feel free to leave a comment below. I would love to see your suggestions, and happy hiking!